Hi, I'm Brendan Hausberger, Chairperson of the Ethics Committee.
And I'm Charles Ng, Chief Risk Management Officer for the World Scout Bureau.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. We'd like to spend some time to give you an overview of ethics within WOSM.
Ethics plays an important role in every organization. In this presentation, we will be talking about ethics, how it is being addressed in WOSM, and the role of the WOSM volunteers and the Ethics Committee. In the next few minutes, we will have an overview of what ethics is and how it applies within WOSM. Then we will look at the importance of the WOSM's Code of Conduct and Complaints Policy. We will define who are the WOSM team members and what are their responsibilities. And finally, we will look at the structure and responsibilities of the Ethics Committee.
So first, let's talk a bit about ethics. What is it? Why does it matter? And what is ethics in the context of WOSM? According to the Oxford Dictionary, ethics is defined as the moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conducting of an activity. Central to ethics is a concern for something or someone other than ourselves and our own desires and self-interests. It is concerned with others' interests or the interests of society. Ethics affects how each one of us makes decisions on a day-to-day basis. So when thinking ethically, we're giving some thought to something beyond ourselves. In terms of organizational ethics, this is defined as the policies, procedures, and culture of doing the right things in the face of difficult and often controversial circumstances. Organizational ethics promotes a positive organizational or corporate culture, builds stakeholder and external confidence, helps to minimize reputational risks, and reduce financial liabilities associated with 1, the loss of membership, and 2, lawsuits. How an organization is addressing ethics and taking a stance on ethical dilemmas are more important than ever due to the ever-increasing level of exposure and activities that an organization and its members are engaged in. In Scouting, our decisions and actions are guided by the Scout Promise and Scout Law, which were originally conceived by the founder of the Scout movement. We are reminded to adhere to and live by the Scout Promise and Law. We actively promote Scouting's values, which are expressed in the principles of Scouting and summarized in the following 3 categories. First, duty to God, a person's relationship with the spiritual values of life, the fundamental belief in a force above humankind. Second, duty to others, a person's relationship with and responsibility within society in the broadest sense of the term, including his and her family, local community, country, and the world at large, as well as respect for the dignity of humanity and for the integrity of the natural world. And third, duty to self, a person's responsibility to develop his or her own potential to the best of that person's ability. A code of conduct has been developed by WOSM, which all members of the WOSM team must abide by. Through these fundamental principles, key documents, and systems in place, and the Code of Conduct, WOSM continues to take proactive measures to address unethical behavior and misconduct appropriately and implement corrective actions where necessary.
Think of an instance when you had to make a difficult decision. You may have been unsure about how to treat a certain situation, or you had to do something on behalf of someone else that was at odds with your own interest. Or perhaps you witnessed some sort of inappropriate or unethical behavior. What did you do? Were you able to turn to something or someone else for guidance? All of us have encountered these types of situations at some point. Having a guidance in place makes it easier to react to these situations. This is why WOSM has developed and introduced its Code of Conduct and the Complaints Policy. The Code of Conduct was developed based on the foundation of World Scouting to strengthen its principles. It also clarifies how WOSM team members should behave. The Complaints Policy ensures the enforceability of the Code of Conduct, and it also provides procedures for the submission of and address complaints.
So, you may be asking, who do we mean by the WOSM team? Who are considered a part of the WOSM team? Well, This term is defined in the Code of Conduct. The WOSM team includes all individuals appointed or elected on the world, regional, or zonal level of WOSM. This also includes, for example, standing committees, task forces, work streams, event teams, and others, as well as employees and staff of the World Scout Bureau. As part of the WOSM team, in regards to ethics, we are, first and foremost, responsible for adhering to the Scout Promise, Scout Law, and the principles of Scouting, which were mentioned before as duty to God, duty to others, and duty to self. Secondly, we must observe and uphold the Code of Conduct and promote high ethical standards. So please familiarize yourself with the Code of Conduct and the relevant key documents and systems included in the circular. If in doubt about a certain conduct or situation, you should ask yourself the following preliminary question. Is it in line with the Code of Conduct? Is it legal and ethical? Does it reflect well on me and on WOSM? Would I be happy if it appeared as a headline on social media or news media outlets? If you're still unsure, then approach your chairperson, volunteer lead, or line manager asking for further guidance. Third, it is our responsibility to create a safe environment for Scouting, and therefore, we must all take the online Safe from Harm training immediately after joining the WOSM team and at the beginning of each new triennium. The online Safe from Harm training assists in understanding the elements of safe from harm so the volunteers can more readily identify and mitigate the risks of harm and promote a safe Scouting environment. And lastly, we have a duty to report and assist, noting that failure to report any breach is a disciplinable breach in itself, as provided in Article 5.1 of the Code of Conduct. If you observe, in good faith, any violation or potential violation of this code, you must take action and report the issue to complaints@scout.org. As WOSM team members, we are the first line of defense. Please refer to the complaints policy for guidance on how to submit a written complaint. By serving in the movement, we put the interests of World Scouting first, before ourselves and our decisions and actions.
The Ethics Committee is comprised of a chairperson with voting rights, who is appointed by the World Scout Committee on the recommendation of the chairperson of the World Scout Committee. 5 other voting members are appointed by the chairperson of the World Scout Committee on the recommendation of the chairperson of the Ethics Committee. Both the chairperson of the World Scout Committee and the Secretary General of WOSM are ex officio, non-voting members of the Ethics Committee. The profile of the different members of the Ethics Committee aims, in totality, to include experience in a National Scout organization on a national level, experience in the WOSM structures, either as an appointed or elected member, experience in handling ethical and harassment cases, experience in mediation and or business financial ethics, and has a legal background. Each member of the Ethics Committee must exemplify the highest ethical standards and be completely independent and not hold a volunteer position within any other substructure in the world, regional, or zonal levels of WOSM. The Ethics Committee is responsible for receiving and reviewing potential breaches against the Code of Conduct and recommend appropriate sanctioning to the World Scout Committee and follow up within the authority of the WOSM Constitution and the relevant WOSM policies whenever they are proven to its satisfaction. It is also responsible for facilitating information and training to relevant stakeholders in the organization and provide the necessary training resources. And thirdly, it is responsible for providing mediation services to world, regional, zonal, and national levels on request by the World Scout Committee, regional Scout committees, or the senior management team of the World Scout Bureau. Thank you for watching this presentation. If you have any questions or comments, please direct them to Charles Ng at charlesng@scout.org. Before closing this session, let me pass it over once again to Brandon for a few final remarks.
As a movement that is founded on values and creating a better world, The establishment of the Ethics Committee provides us, as members of WOSM, with the structure and processes to build on our Scout promise and law that we all share. While this includes holding the WOSM team, namely our office bearers, appointed volunteers and staff alike, to the highest standards of ethical behavior, it also establishes a baseline of expected behavior for us all. To ensure that the Ethics Committee is able to engage and understand the various ethical challenges from our activities around the world, we have put together a team that is culturally diverse and representative of the Scouting movement worldwide. As you will now know, the Ethics Committee has the responsibility not just to address issues when they arise, but to proactively work to improve our mutual understanding of our values and how to implement them as we do Scouting. We're also here to support you, the NSOs, when requested with mediation support where you require it. We will similarly be working through the WOSM services to help support those of your NSOs that don't already have a code of conduct and processes, to put them in place to provide good governance throughout the movement worldwide. On behalf of the Ethics Committee, I would like to assure you that we are here to serve you all and will work to preserve the good behavior and hard-earned reputation that we have built as a movement over more than 110 years. We truly believe that this reputation stands as a beacon in making the world a better place for the future generations. We look forward to serving you all as we go forward. Good luck and good Scouting.